We begin here in the United States today, where the Department of Justice has begun its prosecution of the founder of the far-right group, the Oath Keepers. Stuart Rhodes and 4 others are accused of trying to overturn the outcome of America's 2020 presidential election when they stormed the U.S. Capitol building on January the 6th of last year. Prosecutors urged a jury to convict Rhodes and his fellow Oath Keepers, saying some were clad in paramilitary gear as part of an alleged plot forcefully to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. The case is high stakes for both the Biden administration and the Republican Party, and the evidence the court will hear could also cause fresh challenges for former US President Donald Trump, just as he is believed to be preparing to launch a fresh bid for the White House. Rhodes and his co-defendants are accused of plotting to prevent Congress from certifying President Biden's 2020 election win. The 5 on trial face numerous felony charges, including seditious conspiracy. It carries a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years in jail. Prosecutors have characterized the Oath Keepers as a far-right anti-government group. Many of its members include current and former military and law enforcement personnel.
And the government doesn't necessarily have to show that in that moment they were planning on bringing guns to the Capitol. What the government has to show is that the Oath Keepers and Stuart Rhodes entered into a conspiracy, an agreement to at some point use force to prevent the execution of any law, here the certification of the Electoral College vote, and that they took some overt acts in furtherance of that conspiracy.
Trump supporters, of course, stormed the U.S. Capitol in January of last year after former President Trump falsely claimed the election had been stolen from him. 5 people died during the riots and shortly after them, and about 140 police were injured. For more on all of this, WION's US correspondent Susan Tehrani joins us live from New York today. Susan, we have seen in the past few weeks courts here in Washington very willing to throw the book at defendants in cases linked to January the 6th when they are convicted. Outline the charges for us and tell us how much difficulty Stuart Rhodes and these other members of the Oath Keepers are facing.
So, as you rightly mentioned, Simon, the founder of the Oath Keeper and 4 associates, they allegedly planned for an armed rebellion, and they have pleaded not guilty to charges of a sedition conspiracy. This is a charge rarely brought up by the Justice Department. And then there are numerous other charges. We keep hearing about these other numerous charges of rebellion. The 5... this is a sedition of conspiracy, is a Civil War era statute, as we mentioned, that is rarely prosecuted. It carries a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, and the last time that it was used was decades ago. So Merrick Garland and the Justice Department face a really long hill, an uphill battle on trying to really use this sedition of conspiracy. An attorney for Rhodes, however, argues that the prosecutors built their case on cherry-picked evidence like messages and videos, and the Oath Keepers were not involved with violence during the riots, notably because Rhodes himself didn't even enter the Capitol building during that day. But this is the first high-level prosecution hearing that we're seeing after 2 years of detention. So it is definitely going to carry a lot of theatrics, and the optics are very important. But whether or not they'll be prosecuted is yet to be seen.